This is a PSA. You need to check the mobile version of your Squarespace website now. With Squarespace's introduction of Fluid Engine, users can now create a completely separate mobile version to the desktop version, which is amazing, but it also creates some problems. You see, whenever you load in an item into a section and it looks great on desktop, what the mobile version is doing automatically in the background is adding these elements in exactly the order that you put them in. So you may be building in a left to right pattern, but Fluid Engine doesn't know that, so it doesn't stack correctly. It overlaps elements, it can put elements you want at the bottom, at the top, it can look really messy. And it's creating issues across the board. But if you get it right, you check properly, and you take the correct steps, you can harness this amazing power that we've been given in a way that's going to make your site even better in the long run. So I'm going to hop over to the screen, I'm going to show you an example of how it looks building a section on desktop versus what that translates to on mobile and how to fix it. So I'm going to build a few sections in Fluid Engine and show you exactly what I was trying to describe over on camera earlier. So let's go to pages, then we're going to move me slightly down, and then we'll start by creating our blank page. Let's go with blank page, just call this Fluid Engine, check your mobile. Cautionary tale. So let's go into edit, we'll add a section, and what we'll do is we'll add a template section, and I'll show you how a couple of these work on mobile. This is good. So this is a perfectly templated section, and I'm going to add one more in, and what we'll do is we'll do this one, and then do you know what, for good measure we'll do 3. So let's do one like this, okay, and then we'll save. So on desktop you can see looks really cool, you know, straight out of the gate. It's nice. Then we go on to mobile. Because this is a template, Squarespace has already optimized it for mobile view, which again is great. If you're just going to use templated sections and not move anything about, then brilliant. But let's add in between them a blank section. So what we're going to do is replicate these sections. So add a blank section. Then we're going to grab this, copy it down. So what we need to just do is take out fill screen. I'm going to copy that down here. Okay, so that's the first thing. Then we're going to copy the text and the buttons. So we'll go down here, copy that. Now let's go to mobile version on this. And so you can see it puts it in the order that you've actually put the items in. So it was image first and then it was these 3. But let's put it in a different order. So you're not always going to be able to copy and paste. Let's say we use this one for an example, and we'll put another section beneath, blank section. Okay, so we think I'm going to add this first, because you're thinking, okay, I need like maybe a FAQ section or something like that. So you start off with that, you fill in your FAQs, and then you think, okay, I need some text next to it. So I grab this text and I put that in. And I think, okay, this looks fine. And then I put this image in, I move that down, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll shrink this a tad. And then I'm going to put a button in. So I put the button in, and I put that under there. And I think, okay, great. But then I think, actually, I think the button would work better under here, because I don't want the user to have to scroll past an image to get to the CTA. So what I do is I move that up here, just make it a little bit bigger, and then I move this down, and then move these out. So I'm happy with the section. I hit save, but Squarespace hasn't templated this. So when I go to the mobile version, you can see it's all higgledy-piggledy. You compare that to the one up here, where it's got your title, the text, the accordion, and then the image. This has the accordion, which is what we added first, but it's got all this gap. Then it's got this text here. Then it's got this strange gap again. It's got the image, and then it's got this tiny gap between the button. And even though I moved the button under the text, which is where I want it to be, it stays under because it was added after the image. And you may find when you put all of these sections together and you have all these crazy things going on, that when you go to mobile version, it might end up looking like this, where sections are actually overlapped, and it can really throw you off. And if you don't check it before you go live with your site, then a lot of users that are coming to your site via mobile are just going to be like, what is going on? And you're going to lose customers or potential customers. So what we want to do It's a really simple fix. We can basically drag anything wherever we want on mobile and it won't affect desktop whatsoever. So if I did this, let's just say I went crazy and I stacked everything and I made the image massive and I put the button up here, right? And I left this big gap down here. And this is just for mobile. Because if I go onto desktop, you can see it's perfect still. So what I'm trying to showcase is your desktop version is completely different to your mobile version. No matter what you do, it will always stay on the version that you edit. So if we go into mobile, let's change things around. So I want to start probably with the text. So I move that up here, move it in so it's centered, and then what I want to do is drag to highlight these two, move them down so I have a little bit of space to operate. And underneath the text, I'm going to drag this here. And you can see the text block is actually too big. So we can drag this up. And then you can see we've got some nice alignment. Now under there, I'll probably want to put our FAQs. So I'll drag this to make sure everything's in line. Like this. Drag it so we've got no overlapping blocks. Obviously you can have overlapping blocks if that's a stylistic choice. But if it's not, then it looks messy. So we've got some nice spacing now. And what I want to do is actually keep this image as full bleed. What we could do is have it cropped down like this. But I actually want this to go side to side because I think that looks good. So I can drag it and make it overflow like this. And then I can drag our section up like so. And you can see we've got our section nicely laid out. And when we go back to desktop, it's perfectly laid out on there. So you've just got to pay particular attention when you're doing a completely bespoke section versus a template section. Template sections, I'll reiterate, are completely fine across all browser sizes. But when you try and make something from a blank page and start adding your elements in, you've got to be really wary. Now, yes, this is a cautionary tale, but it's not to bash on Fluid Engine. Fluid Engine is giving us complete free reign over how our website is displayed across all browsers. And I think that's an amazing thing. The impetus now just falls on us to make sure that we're getting everything bang on for mobile and we're not alienating users that are coming to us through that medium. So hopefully that's clear and hopefully it helps and hopefully it will stop any mobile mishaps in the future. And if this has been a help to you, then make sure to leave a like, subscribe and check out all of the tools and resources in the description below.